Hi, everyone. This is Brendan Park, your academic advisor for the MENV program. And I'm going to go over the Canvas advising environment and a little bit about how to use it. So the course is structured with modules and pages. So the heart of the course is really your specialization specific modules. So you'll see that we've got a module for the policy specialization for renewable and sustainable energy, sustainability in the outdoor industry, sustainable food systems, and urban resilience and sustainability. That's most of what I'm going to be talking about today. There are a few additional things in this course that you don't need to worry about right now unless you are a dual degree student. For those of you who are MBA, MENV dual degree students coming in, there's a specific module for you because your course requirement timeline is a little bit different from everyone else's. I'm working on an international students module that probably won't be published until later this summer. A little bit on petitions, processes, and procedures that none of you need to worry about right now. I'll probably publish this in the summer as well, but these will be student-facing guides for you all to use in along with advising with me for anything that you have that comes up along the way that needs petitioning. And then there's going to be a final short module, a little bit on some grant writing resources for you to look at as well. But for now, I want to look at the specialization module. The first 3 pages in the module are probably the ones that are going to be most relevant for you right now as an incoming student. And then the second 2 pages in the module are really more forward-looking as you move into your first semester in the program and start thinking about planning for your rest of the time in the program in terms of what you want to do for your electives and your coursework and how you're strategizing your coursework in relation to your career goals. So let's just go ahead and look at one of these. So the first thing each of you will see, we're going to look at the renewable and sustainable energy one. First thing each of you have in your modules is an overview from your specialization lead. So in this overview, Josh Radoff is the specialization lead for renewable and sustainable energy. There's basically going to be kind of an overview from your spec leads on what the curriculum is for your specialization, the rationale behind that curriculum, requirements, course offerings, things like that, and then a little bit on elective frameworks, adjacent electives, recommended electives, and things like that. So that's the very first thing each of you will have in your module. The next page is really concrete nuts and bolts materials on planning and degree requirements. So I've got a couple of different planners for you here, a visual planner and a PDF planner. So the PDF planner looks like this. It's a way for you to help you keep track of your degree requirements. So going through, all of you will take these core classes. Everybody's going to take these capstone requirements. And then here you can fill in your course number and course titles and credits for your specialization requirements. And you can see that the totals column lets you know what the requirements are for each of these. There's also a visual planner, and there are video instructions right here in the upper left corner for how to use the visual planner. The visual planner has clickable, draggable tiles that can also be filled in and can help you see exactly when you're doing what and when you're fulfilling which requirements, which will help you kind of visually gauge your time management strategy and just make sure that you're meeting all of the requirements that you need to throughout the program. So you'll notice that down here, there's a key for your degree requirements, 9 core credits, 9 capstone, 12 specialization, and 18 elective credits, 12 of which must be within the MENV program. So as you begin taking your electives, you'll see that 4 of these are highlighted, that they must be from within the program. And then you can take up to 6 credits of electives outside the program, or you can take those within the program as well. Many students do. So as you do these, you can keep track of your tallies down at the bottom. So we can see we've got 1 credit towards the capstone in red. We've got 6 credits towards core. So as you all will see, these courses are what all of you will be taking in the fall. And then in addition, each of you will have a recommendation from your specialization lead about 6 more credits to take. So for example, if you are coming in as a sustainable food system student, Damien's going to recommend that you take Intro to Food Systems, which is 5038. That's 3 credits. And then also the Quantitative Analysis in Food Systems series. And that one is 3 1-credit courses. 4-3, 4-4, 4-5. And again, that will add up to 3 credits. So you can see the visual planner is just one additional way to help you keep track of your requirements as you're going through the program. When I first started working in this role, there were a lot of students who came up to me who said, I can't really figure out how to visualize my plan, and everybody was showing me different spreadsheets. So that's one of the reasons that we came up with the visual planner for you all. So you can see for this first semester, for this standard food system schedule, this student will end that first semester with 6 credits toward the specialization, 6 credits of core, and 1 credit towards capstone. Capstone is on a set sequence. So spring 1, you'll take SIL 2. Over the summer, you'll do your capstone project. And in the fall, you'll do SIL 3. So you can go ahead and drag all those down ahead of time. So that's a little bit in that module about these planners. You'll notice for all of you, you are entering in fall of 23 or later. So this is the specific planner to use for you. There's slightly different planners for the cohorts that entered previously, and also for the MBA, MENV dual degree students. Here again is an overview of the degree requirements. Again, for MENV, MBA dual degree students, it's a little bit different for you. You have a link to your own module here if you want to check that out. And then at the bottom of this page for each specialization, again, we're in the RSE modules, so you'll see what the requirements are for your specific specialization. So everybody has 12 credits required for their specialization. For RSE students, you're required to take these 2 classes, and then you get to choose 2 from among these. And then these are some additional RSE electives that would count towards your overall elective requirement, but they don't count towards RSE specialization requirements. I'll leave you all some time to look over your specialization page. I realize it's pretty quick and a brief overview like this. And then the next page is what's going to be in the email that I'm sending out to you, early in late April. And this is just the recommended course schedule. Every specialization has their own recommended schedule. Everyone from all specializations is taking capstone, leadership, and analyzing socio-environmental systems. And then for renewable energy, there are a couple more classes here. You'll notice that where I have them, I have linked syllabi for all of you. So you can see the syllabus for the classes that you're taking. Over here in the files section is all. You can see a lot of syllabi, both for internal electives and external electives. So that's just one more resource for you. Keep in mind that these are not for the current semester. In most cases, they're the most recent I have available, and some of those details and those syllabi are subject to change. So just be aware of that. Again, you can find a whole lot of the syllabi in the class files section as well. And then those are the parts of the module that you should be interested in right now. And the last 2 pages in the module, so strategizing elective coursework and doing a skills gap analysis, these are more forward-looking. So for strategizing elective coursework, there's a whole lot of resources and information for you. First of all, on strategizing MENV offerings for elective coursework. There's a whole lot of resources and links for you right here to begin to research and get to know our offerings. I'm also strongly encouraging all of you to think not just about what the course content is, but also what type of course it is. We have courses that offer all these different windows into your coursework, from project opportunities and networking opportunities to technical skill sets and stakeholder engagement. And then any variety of these qualities overlapping within courses as well. And then I also have a guide for each specialization on, again, those 6 credits, up to 6 credits that you can take if you want outside of MENV. So I have information for you on where students have taken electives in the past, when they've taken them outside of the program. Some popular courses listed, again, with syllabi where I have them. And then I also have this link to a spreadsheet, which is really valuable information for you about student feedback. So I crowdsource you all to get feedback from everybody that I compile on a spreadsheet. So you all can be a resource for one another in terms of which outside electives have been most effective and most useful for you. And then in the final page of each module, there's a link to a skills gap analysis worksheet. So everybody is going to be going over this exercise during orientation. Strongly encourage you to look at it ahead of time. Since MENV is a professional program, we're really, strongly emphasizing that you all are thinking about your careers and planning towards those careers early on in the program. So I work together with the career advising team on these. You can find a link to the career team page here. Sorry about that. So here we have the career advising team. So we've got Molly, Brian, and Mara. So we all work on skills gap analyses worksheets with students. Basically, a skills gap analysis begins with you filling out a spreadsheet, looking at some sample jobs of interest, filling out the skills that you think are required, that you see required, preferred skills, things pulled from the job description, and starting to think about what you're missing from those. So you start with that, with a handful of jobs, and then come back to career advisors, academic advisors, and start really filling in the details. We have a sample for one that's much more filled in terms of, organizing what those skills are and looking at where to get them. So classes that offer those skills, other places to get them through your capstone experience, perhaps internship opportunities, common job titles that are in the same wheelhouse as the job you're looking at, starting to think about connecting with the career team to ask about alumni and LinkedIn connections for other people who are in these fields. A whole lot of stuff to think about in moving towards your career options. So that's a brief rundown of the Canvas environment for you all and how to use it. As with anything advising related, if you have any questions on this or anything else, please just reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to talk to you all and be a resource for you any way I can. Thanks again, welcome, and again, can't wait to work with all of you.